Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Brad Young, and today the deck we're going to be looking at and testing is what I like to call Dark Naya. So it's basically your standard run-of-the-mill Naya deck that's splashing black for Unbearable Rights in the main deck and a couple cards in the sideboard, which we'll get to in a minute. So I'm going to run through the deck really quickly. I'm certain that you've all seen the Naya decks play out many times already, watching the SCG circuit and Grand Prix, what have you. So just going to run through the numbers really quick and talk about some of the more notable cards. So in the main deck for creatures, there's 2 Thundermaw Hellkites, 4 Thragtusks, and 4 Restoration Angels. That part kind of goes without saying these days. There's 3 Huntmaster of the Fells. Some decks can play 4, but I like 3 is a good number to be able to fit everything in. There's 3 Borderland Rangers, which helps us with our colors. We're a 4-color deck, so it's definitely a key part to the strategy to be able to make sure we meet our color requirements. And there's 4 Avacyn's Pilgrims to be able to power out our 3 and 4 drops, be able to accelerate our game. As a mid-range deck, Mana Dorks are always a very key part to that strategy. And then rounding out the creatures, we have 2 Angel of Serenities. In Standard these days, you either need to be much faster or much larger than your opponent, and that's how you are winning. That's how all these decks are winning games. Either the Reanimator decks have been so much larger, or the Rakdos decks have been so much faster. And Angel of Serenity is really the titan of the format these days. It's the go-to haymaker almost 99% of the time. It is the finisher if you need to go large. So we have 2 of those in the main deck. Moving into sorceries, into instants, we have 3 Selesnya Charms, which is a really great card. It does a lot of very useful things. The pump is very good at messing up combat damage. The being able to make a 2/2 in a pinch to be able to block against, let's say, the Rakdos decks is also very effective, and being able to kill a large creature is it definitely gives this deck. It's a very good tool that this deck has access to, and yeah, it's a fantastic card. Sometimes I kind of wish that there was a 4th one here, but for today we're testing with 3 in the deck. I'm going to skip over the lands for a second and move to the Garrux. Planeswalker is just really good in things like the Mirror, things like Control, the blue-white tempo decks, different styles of control decks. The Bant decks is very good, and even in Game 1 against the Rakdos decks, or red decks, what have you, making 3/3s, 3/3 blockers is definitely a key part. It's very good. He's never really a bad card. As long as you can cast him, he'll probably get you something. So he's a very good, solid Planeswalker. In the sorceries, one thing that I do want to talk about is the Unbearable Rights. So I wanted to splash black into the deck to be able to have access to some powerful sideboard cards. And while I was doing that, I thought that Unbearable Rights in the main deck would be a very good way to make use of the black splash in Game 1 and give the deck a bit of longevity. And so let's say against the Mirror, you have extra Thragtusks, extra Angels. Against aggro, you have basically you just want more Thragtusks. You just want as many of these as you possibly can. And every time you have Thragtusk and an Unbearable Rights, you essentially have 3 Thragtusks. So you can just keep doing that again and again and again, and just grinding out a lot of the aggro decks that way. It's just a great card. It brings back lots of your things. It gives you lots of powerful late game. So while your opponent's hand might be dwindling away, the board might be stalled out, or you might be racing to try to find a threat, Unbearable Rights can bring a previous one back for you. And so far it's been pretty sweet, and I really hope that I get to do some awesome things with it in these games we're about to play. Moving on, we have Farseek, again to smooth out the mana. And finally, we have 3 Bonfires. It's a card that I both love and hate. It's sweet when you draw it, and it's the worst thing that could ever happen to you in the world of gaming when it's ripped against you. but we have 3 bonfires, and well, everybody can understand why they're there. Aggro and mid-range have become staples in this format, and bonfire is good against both those. So moving on into the sideboard, we have for creatures, one Sigarda, Singleton Sigarda, is fantastic against the red decks, like red deck wins, or they're kind of like Rakdos, like red splashing black decks. But those decks actually don't have a way to interact with this card at all. They can only attack into it. They can only hope that you either have to block with it, or that they can't actually block it, really. Like some of the decks have they have Thundermaw Hellkites and whatnot, but this card matches up very well against all of the red decks. And it's also really good against, in the mirror, it's good against Bant, and it's good against the blue-white decks, where if you name it off of Cavernous Souls, then they can't interact with it, and it can attack and kill them. There's 2 Centaur Healers for the red decks, the Rakdos decks, fast aggro, gain some life, and it's an early blocker. 2 Silkglass Spiders, again, for Rakdos, for anything that's playing Thundermaw Hellkites and Falconwrath Aristocrats. This card blocks those 2 cards, those 2 creatures, all day long, does not die. It can't be burned out by anything in the red deck, and it's just a fantastic blocker. It can also be brought in against like some of the token decks that are trying to kill you with like Lingering Soul, Anthem effects. The sweeper ability is pretty good there, but it's mostly just for blocking aristocrats and such. And we have 2. A lot of decks are playing 3, but we also have Unbearable Rights in the main deck, which could serve as extra copies of this card if it gets ultimate priced, which is basically ultimate price is the best way to deal with this card. So moving on, we have enchantments, 2 Rest in Pieces for the graveyard-based decks, the Reanimator decks where they want to bring back a fatty, or against any deck that's trying to kill you with a very large Runechanter's Pike. Just gets rid of their graveyard, and we're not really affected by graveyard hate at all. Like, we have Unbearable Rights, but it doesn't matter that much. If we're bringing this in, we can also just board out 2 of these and into Rest in Pieces. Into Instants, we have Singleton Ray of Revelation. It's good at blowing up the detention spheres. I know some of the other control decks are playing like Curse of Death's Hold and such, but it's mostly just for Bant when they play their detention spheres to get back your creatures. We have 3 Tragic Slips, so one of the reasons why we're in black again. Fantastic against the Rakdos decks, and it's also pretty good against any of the green-white human decks that are going around, but it's mostly to kill Falconwrath Aristocrat. And like on turn 1, it can also kill a Stormkirk Noble and things like that. But it deals with Aristocrat very, very well. They can't sack a creature to make it indestructible, and even if they do sack a human, the dying goes on the stack, dying trigger goes on the stack, and then this -13s and still kills the Aristocrat. So these are kind of the hosers against the flying aggro decks. We have another Planeswalker, another Garruk in the sideboard to go with the 2 in the main deck. It's, again, where Primal Hunter is good, you want another Garruk. The reason for the split is just because sometimes you don't want to pay 5. You don't have your triple green, and 4 is a lot more reasonable to be able to cast. You can also cast it on turn 3, maybe under counter magic, and it eats Augur of Bolus, which is really important, so that your Thrag Tusks, your Hunt Masters and such can actually connect with the opponent. Yeah, it's just a really good card. So that's why we have him. It's also nice to have the different abilities as well. Like the search ability on this on the flip side is good. Being able to fight is good. The 2/2s aren't as good as the 3/3s, and you can't ultimate to kill him. But it's been a very long time since I've since I've activated the -6 on a Primal Hunter. I don't think I've done it since I was playing like Wolf Run games back in Old Standard, and even then it was few and far between. I've actually ultimate his flip side more often than I have his, and that can also win you the game. So last but not least, we have AttilaGames. So this is the main reason why I'm splashing black into this deck. I wanted a card that could deal with Sphinx's Revelation, and AttilaGames does that. So you can name their Sphinx's Revelation, and they have to play fair. They can't gain a bunch. They can't on the key turn where you're about to kill them, draw a bunch of cards, gain a bunch of life, and get back in the game and kill you with their card advantage, or chain them together. These cards are also very good against Reanimator. It takes out their Thragtusks or their endgame. Other angels, it's good in the mirror for the same reason, Thragtusks and endgame. And it's just a very powerful card. And hopefully in the games that we play today, I'll be able to showcase that and sort of drive my point home. I believe it's a very good card, and yeah, it's what kind of drove me to add black to the deck. So without any further delay, let's jump into some games, and we'll see what this deck can do.